What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I want to talk a little bit today, just you and I. And I want to talk about the whole situation, not from the standpoint of Allisha Watts being missing, but from the psyche and the motive of why her boyfriend did what he did. And over the past week, I've been covering the story. I've got a lot of support from you guys. You guys said a lot of nice things in the comments. Sometimes when I speak and I do videos pertaining to children, people that get victimized, the elderly, you guys know it. I don't like when people get victimized, bullied, or just preyed upon, period. Like in this situation, I think it has almost all three of those aspects. That's why this thing really gets to me. Another thing that gets to me is the outpouring support from friends and people in the North Carolina, Charlotte area that have responded to me with information that only I was privy to in support to get it out, because they believed in the way I speak and the message I'm trying to get across. The support they've shown in me is tremendous, and it was an honor to report on your behalf. But I want to talk about this dude, James Dunmore. And I have 4 reasons why I think he did what he did, regardless of what he did. Now, we don't know, and we still have our heads, our hopes up that Allisha Watts is found safe. But I mean, with every passing moment, hope dwindles. He's disappeared. He's left his vehicle. That Audi vehicle I spoke about in the other video is his car. They said it's a evidence. It's a part of the evidence. We'll see as more information comes out. The reason why I bring this up is I don't want to speak about this no more. I'm going to do this like I did Carly Russell, but in a better light, where I'm not going to really report it unless something comes out outside of the norm. Because just hearing everybody involved is putting the strain on people that are very close to her and people in the community. And I mean, they haven't told me this, but you can hear in people's voices the hurt and just the depression. When I do these videos, a lot of times it bothers me because I hate when bad things happen to good people. You understand? Not everybody is a good person. Not everybody wants to be a good person. A lot of times people want change and don't know how to do it. I think that was his fault. He was confused. He had a lot of gunfire and he had a lot of storms in his head that he couldn't sweep away because he couldn't see past his own nose and his insecurities. The first thing I want to talk about is 4 things I think that made him be how he was with her and have things going the way they're going. The first thing is this: he was out of his league. I think James Dunmore was out of his league. Now, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, and a lot of you ladies that are professional out there, you understand this. When you start accomplishments of success and you start climbing a ladder, or you start having a business or anything like that, something where people start to look up to you, if you're doing it the right way, you will have constant elevation. I'm experiencing that. And what'll happen is, even though you want to take some people with you, they won't even reach out their hand to allow you to pull them up next to you, because they look at you like everybody else does, even though you treat them different than anybody else. And that's fact. This man was as close to her as he could. He was close to her intimately. He had her heart. They dated for a year. Whatever she sees in him, she don't see in nobody else. That's why he sat in the big boy seat next to her. Think about it. That's why he had the title of boyfriend. This man's 51, she's 39. What is that? A 12-year difference? That right there has me thinking that them 12 years difference, he didn't learn anything. There's a lot of empty years. Remember, he been incarcerated before. Even though you're not incarcerated, he had 15 years of probation. That's still in the system. It still plays a role in your psyche. A bunch of assault and battery charges on women. Crimes against women. Subconsciously, he sees them a certain way, and he sees himself as superior and them inferior. You understand what I'm saying? Now, here she come, and you got to look at the psyche of a man. Psyche of a man state, us guys, we know your accumulation of assets is a measure of your status of success. Who had the assets? She did. So almost as she gathered assets, he shrank in masculinity. Y'all agree with that? That's real. I've seen that. That car, I think, was the beginning of the end. Because I'm going to tell you something. She's a business owner. She has a lot of community support. She's successful. She brought that car. It's a 2023. Here we are 8 months into 2023. And she got a new car. Just buying a new car is an incredible feat for a lot of people out here. And a lot of people with lower IQs look at that as if it's like buying a house. That's a hell of an achievement. And that makes me think that maybe he didn't get that car. Somebody else got him that car. And I can go down the different list of things. I think that car was the center of attention. And I think that was the beginning of the end. Maybe it was a car he liked, but she brought it first. Could be. But I think from a status symbol of how men feel about cars and just the way it would look as a symbol of her success and a reward to herself, which she deserved because she brought it. I think that was the beginning and end. One of the biggest things in this whole case is when people told me, and I read it in articles, he would try to make her feel bad about her what? Achievements. Think about that. Somebody wants you to feel bad because you're doing the right thing. And I'm going to skip this for a second and I want you to hear this. Did you hear what I just said? People get upset with you because you did the right thing to get where you're at, where they want to be where you're at, but don't want to do the work it took to get there. It's a lot of people out there like that. And we see a lot of that. Jealousy, envy, hate, unjust hate, especially in our community. Like I say a lot, we are silly people sometimes. We know better, but won't do better. And that's all the way across the board. I mean, I'm not just going to put that, but I mean, from my experience of dealing with folks like me that look like me, that's one of the things. I do expensive work. Even though I do it like it's the back of my hand and I know fish, I know water chemistry, I know a lot of stuff a lot of other aquarium companies don't know that make me stand out. People still want to ask for a discount when they look like me. That's discrediting. If you won't do that for all people, don't do it for me. Don't do it to me. Because a lot of times people ask you for a discount and you ain't did a lick of work or they haven't seen your work or don't ask you about your work. That's disrespect. They devalue you. They devalue you. And that's the thing. A lot of us take advantage of people that help us or want us to shine with them, and we devalue things. It's no way this woman should be missing. It's no way. And it's no way he should be missing. I said yesterday, if he had kept his mouth closed and paid attention, I'm sure she wanted to see him successful. A good woman to stand behind a man, and she'll be his rock. and push him forward. When he starts to lean back, she won't lean back with him and hold with him while she going back, because what's going to happen? He's going to pull her with him. She already knew what success was, and she was climbing, and he was right there, but he wouldn't take the step up. That's the first thing. Their minds didn't match. The mindsets did not match. He was out of his league. Number two, he had too many insecurities. And that went along with a little bit of what I said about him trying to make her feel bad about her achievements, or coming off to her like, oh, you think you all that. You know what I mean? What's the opposite of all that? None of that. So you'd rather her be none of that than all of that? What's your motivation? A lot of us out here, especially younger people, don't know what their why, especially men. Young men don't know what their why is. As a man, when you're with a child, when they're young, a male child, you have to find out what they're good at, what they're passionate about, and then hone in on where they want to be and support that. Everybody's why is different. Even though it's your child, his direction at a certain age, he will veer off, and you just want it to be in a positive direction, and you provide the fuel to get him from point A to point B. Success is contagious. So is misery. He had too many hangups. I'm sure it was times where he asked her, or he wanted to ask her questions, or he wanted to say something to her, but he felt as though it might make him look weak. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. A lot of times, women, a lot of stuff we worry about, women don't even think about. Remember I said our mindsets are different. Men, we're more testosterone driven. You know, even with the way we think, we want to look big, we want to look mean, we want to look tough. We don't want to be seen sensitive or weak. Women are caring, nurturing, loving. A lot of times the feelings are on the inside. They observe more than they talk sometimes. Well, some of them. But you understand what I'm saying. Wisdom is a prime attribute of a woman. You know, back in the day, my grandparents who raised me, he'd go off. My grandma would sit there. Later on that night, she'd say, hey, let me talk to you real quick. Here she come with the wisdom from observing. He could have used his wisdom, but he didn't. Too much noise and stuff going around. A lot of times, guys like this with insecurities feel as though they're not heard. You see a lot of young kids doing that, acting out, doing crazy stuff in the street because they want validation, because they don't feel like they're heard. Street credibility. They want to be recognized. We see this a lot. I think that was this problem. You know, the dumbest questions is the one you don't answer. It's nothing wrong with a woman teaching you anything. Hell, the first teacher of man, as he's a child, is a woman. Guys, show of hands. How many people, who taught you how to do your ABCs? Was it your mother? Who taught you how to count? Your dad was working or whatever. Or if he was there, mom taught you that because she was home. Your first 0 to 5 or 6 years, depending on what state you live in, you have to stay home anyway with mom. It was in daycare and stuff when I was coming up. So when you went there and learned how to play the games, patty cake, all that other stuff, counting, ABCs, and then when daddy come home, what you do? You hike. You want to share your achievement for the day. She call you in there, baby, come look at this. Show 'em. You happy. You doing your little ABCs or whatever, achievements, little things. I think a lot of it was he didn't want to achieve nothing, or he just wanted what she had. Or she would try to explain things to him. Because I'm going to tell you something, as a business owner, and you start supervising, you start learning about things, and you start understanding how to do this, and you also know how this can trip somebody up. So a lot of times you come from a teaching standpoint, like how I do on my videos. Sometimes I feel like I'm teaching, or that's just in me. I want to make sure when I say something to somebody, they have a full understanding. Because if anything negative comes out of it, it won't be my fault. It'll be yours for not listening. And I think that was the situation with him. Too many insecurities. That's number 2. Number 3, her achievements, and I want you to listen to this, guys. Her achievements put pressure on his manhood. Men are competitive. We don't like being outdone. Those of us with low IQs or egos or sensitivity problems, insecurities and stuff like that, you can say something and it might not even be a slight, and somebody will hate you for life. I can guarantee you there were times where something good happened to her and she turned to go share it with him and he was doing this. I've experienced that, where I've made achievements. And I'm like, man, can you believe this? Look, and you look around the room, there's always one person in the back, like, just hating with the devil in them. For what? For what? If she go up, you go up. When you looked at that picture of them hugging, she was nothing but feminine in there. He could have snatched her if he wanted to. He could have snatched her. But he leaned back, showing his insecurity, grabbed her by the arm to show he in control. I ain't never seen a man grab a woman like that unless he was pulling her out of danger or trying to control her. Oh, my bad. We already established that. I honestly think there were times when something good happened to her and she couldn't even enjoy it because he was getting mad about it, because she couldn't talk to it and to him and share her jubilation with him. I can guarantee that almost. Y'all feel that? You ever been around a guy or a girl? Something happened. Y'all happy? Somebody come up and give you something. Hey man, you do a good job. Hey this. Hey such and such. This that. Soon as they leave, you can't talk to this person like, wow, that was weird. Did you see that? And of course, they immediately change when you get an attitude. Rest of the day, what's wrong with you? Nothing. They won't tell you. It's petty things like that that have both sexes of man and woman bumping head because of silliness like this. If I come up, whoever's with me come up. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to make sure if something happened to me, they fully will be taken care of and they fully know how to run stuff in case I'm down for a while or if I don't come back. Having good character is a must as you age in maturity as a man and a woman. Your character is everything. I cannot tell you the countless times I've signed big money deals with clients I thought I would never land because they liked my character. I got a son that his first job was at Home Depot about 5 years ago when he got down here with me. He worked at Home Depot for 6 months. A guy came in there, he helped the guy. Guy came in there and said, man, I really like your attitude. You should sell cars. I tried to stop him from doing it. Because I was like, I used to sell cars, but it was briefly. My experience wasn't too. I said, that's a hard thing. And I know his attitude at the time. But what I didn't understand was this drive. He said, Dad, I think I want to do this. He went over there, took off, was one of the best salesmen. One of their best salesmen. He stayed there 2 years. As he's over there, he sells a car to somebody. This guy appraises antiques, like Antique Roadshow with the white gloves. The guy said, I like you, you sharp. He said, you smart kid. He said, I wouldn't pull you away from anything you love, but this is my card. We travel all over, and I will teach you things you've never seen, and you will understand the value of money and the value of memorabilia, collectibles. It's a world, it's exciting, and I want to bring you in on it. You know what my son did? He left that job. Well, first, before he left the job, he went and The guy said, just come with me for a week. He went on vacation with the guy, loved it. Now he's doing that. My son is 23 years old and makes $170,000 a year. A year. 23 years old. All because of his character. The movie Concussion with Will Smith, when he was acting like he was a doctor and he was doing the NFL thing, I'll never forget it. When the lady from his homeland came and stayed with him that one part in that one scene. And she said, well, I want to do this, or I was thinking about that, but I don't know. He said, this is America. Here you can be anything you want to be. And I've said that in my videos. When I came to Houston, Houston is a wonderful place to start over. A lot of stuff in urban areas and stuff like that, where, you know, people bother you, police target you and all. It ain't out here like that. It ain't. You can grow here. That's why I came here. This is the best place for me, and I have grown. I came to Houston with $200, hear me, in my pocket. The first night I got here, I jumped in a cab and said, take me to a hotel. I didn't know where I was at. He takes me to the Hilton. The next morning I wake up, because I had to spend money for the cab and everything. I had $10 in my pocket. I could have called home. Can I come back? Because I just got off probation with my prison sentence, just like him. I've changed my life around for the better. A lot of us that have been incarcerated, we've been down roads that we don't want nobody to go behind us. He could have changed that. He could be sitting up here like me, trying to talk to young people and trying to talk to just us in general. We have a lot of wisdom, but it's like, for some reason, with all this stuff that's put up and the blinders that are put on our children, they can't hear the simplest words we say. We're losing our children out here. That's all of us, with all the temptation. You got Hollywood telling people how they got to look, how they got to dress to be accepted. People are caught up in the whirlpool. I think he's one of them. Let me get to this last point, because I've been running for a little bit. He never really saw who she was. Meaning, he treated this relationship like he treated any other relationship. Every relationship I've been in, ladies and gentlemen, and you hear me on this, I've always learned something, and I've always went up with the next person I meet. Now, it's not always successful, but I've learned something, and moving towards the next relationship, I made sure, or tried to be cognizant of my past problems I had, and I tried to rectify them so I wouldn't repeat them moving forward. He has a history of silly stuff. He couldn't get past it. Like I said, I think that car was the end all. That's like getting a crib, buying a house, and somebody putting the keys in your hand in front of somebody that you want to live with you and grow, but he don't want it like that. He want the keys in his hand, and he want the credit like he brought it, but don't know the first thing of how to acquire it. I'm going to tell you guys, fellas, you got a woman out here that's an anchor to you, you cut bait. You hear me? You do it. You do it quick. Ladies, you got a guy out here that you got to convince to even get up and do the simplest things, or you got to question whether he really got your back when the time comes, or if you got somebody, period, that if you get sick or hurt and you're down for 3 to 6 months, can they handle everything? If you don't have that, end it immediately. Because a lot of times, people get set in their ways. And if they ain't changed now, they ain't gonna never change. And you're setting yourself up. I'm sure she's seen the flags multiple times. That's a smart woman. She could have got out of this, and that's what hurts the most. I take this seriously because as a business owner, I know how it is to deal with people that look at you a certain way. I do. Whether it's friends, family, or lovers. Like I say all the time, I wish I could fix these kind of things that happen to us in Black community and abroad. I mean, I really do. I mean, the best I can do is just get on here and talk to you guys. We are almost 40,000 strong as a community. In the last, 3 weeks, my subscriber count has doubled, and I am very appreciative. But I am who I am. And I have to give you, you know what I'm saying, what's in me. And I think it's working. I appreciate each and every one of you. I do hope she's found so her family can stop suffering, so that community can live in peace again. So this guy, I hope he get caught so he can have justice. I'm going to say one more thing about him, and I'm going to leave out of here. I'm going to leave this alone for a little while until some news comes. I think he's local because he left his car. Had a girl, hey, go and get the stuff out the Mercedes. That didn't work. So he got somebody driving him around. He's shacked up with somebody else. If a guy sit up in the house that a woman owned, his sister, I mean, I don't know, no disrespect to her, I don't know her, and feel comfortable bringing girls in there to live with him, he'll stay with anybody. Think about that. As a man, you ain't got nowhere to go. You live with your sister and your girl live with you. You have no pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. And she's, at the time, and I'm not talking about Allisha, I'm talking about his ex-girlfriend. At the time, I don't know the situation, she was there too. Misery loved company. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I speak out of love, man. And I speak out because I care. I mean, I care about everybody. You know, I ain't no love fest, look at me. But I mean, I want change. I'll see you guys in the next video.